lift through this moment, or give yourself food for the mind and you will get caught in this moment.
Yes, beautiful. And as you guys both were speaking of the cosmic connection, this has been very much part of my astral travels lately. I've been running ley lines and crystals coming up from the earth. I think from you, or maybe, I don't know, even further south, but all the way up to Canada. And if you can share with the listeners just how to connect with their cosmic legacy, that star energy. It's been very present around me, and it would be great just to share some techniques for people to connect with that level of consciousness and memory.
It's a beautiful question, and I think one of the easiest ways to begin opening the recognition more fully, more consciously, is to do a little practice that we call sipping light. And this is a fun one. It's done outdoors. It's easiest to do during the daytime. And it's very simple. You gaze into the sky, but focus your vision beyond the blue, beyond the stratosphere. Just imagine at first, pretend you are looking into the Milky Way, into outer space. And from that place, feel the energy coming into your eyes. Feel the receipt of cosmic connection into your eyes with every breath, breathing in that light, the pure light, not the light that was refracted by an atmosphere. This is the cosmic light. And what you will discover as you do this is your beingness will anchor in a place of deep peace and revival. There's actually an energization that happens. And this energization is available to all of us because we're connecting with a source energy that's outside the planetary thought body, that's outside of this soup of density of mass consciousness that is truly gathered around our planet and tends to refract and interfere with pure thoughts and pure connection. So this practice of sipping light is really the foundation for then moving into deeper meditative and etheric travels. What we find that it offers a renewal to folks. It offers an opportunity to get the body, the physical body, used to having these energies flowing. And that, I think, is really part of the magic of this time we're in, is that we're both here and there simultaneously. And for many people, here and there, it can feel unsettling. Right. And this chaos that, just to use a broad descriptor, what's actually happening is we are re-energizing our tissues. We are awakening crystalline DNA. We're really part and parcel becoming the change we seek. But our human body and at times our consciousness is lagging behind what our soul knows is true.
Definitely. And to help bridge for people, again, because I recently did an interview with a gentleman, and I got a lot of, just really heartfelt emails from people, worried about their own ascension, worried about the planet, and yet being caught up, in the drama of the planet right now, whether it's economics or political or whatever it may be. If you can just share a little bit of how to separate oneself in the mind, it's so beautiful to fall into and sip light. I love that description. How we can separate from the mind the 3D chatter and just go into that unconditional heart space that you spoke of at the beginning.
Well, I'm so glad you asked, Suzanne, because really that is the essence of the choice that's in front of everyone right now. And the first thing that it does take is a commitment to the self. There must be a sincere, heartfelt commitment to the self from the self that simply is clear, and that clear choice is, I am willing to move into this space. And, these are, I would also really encourage everybody to read our book, 2012, You Have a Choice, because that was literally a step-by-step manual on how to do that. And whether you feel called to read another book or not is not relevant. What's relevant is you've got to make the choice. it's easy to be in the fear space because fear is the predominant paradigm. And the reality is that fear is profitable. So because fear is profitable, it's going to be put in front of you every day. Now, the gift of that is when you make a conscious choice, you begin to start witnessing yourself going back into these fear-filled experiences, and the more you begin to witness yourself, the more you can start recognizing what it is and kind of sipping light through it, lifting up through it. One of the things that's important is look at who you're associating with. If you're with people who like to have the fear-based conversation, then you have to ask yourself if you're really committed to moving through that conversation. You might just be at a moment where you're really kind of enjoying the energy that the fear is stirring up, and if that is something someone enjoys, then they have to give themselves the recognition of, okay, what inside this energy am I not complete with yet, and am I ready to be complete with this? Because how someone is navigating versus what someone is saying is the ultimate final quantum leap that is before us. There are many, many beautiful people that know beautiful words and are unable to live those words. And that was part of what Sri and I really felt committed to do, was to model what the Archangelic Realm has been sharing and the information that's been coming through us, was to become more than, we really felt we needed to become international citizens, that we needed to recognize that we are citizens of more than any one country, that when we can allow ourselves to realize that we are all planetary citizens in a galactic federation, so to speak, then your world opens up dramatically, and the people you meet come together from the communion and the recognition that we are ready to say goodbye to the 3D fear-based paradigms and dive into an expanded paradigm. And I will share again, it's simple, however, it is not easy. It takes daily commitment, because I guarantee every day you will have put in front of you in some form the choice to keep making. It's not a choice you can make once. You have to keep making that choice. Spirit will always keep you on a need-to-know basis. And so Spirit is constantly allowing you that gift. So every day you wake up, you have a choice. And some days you'll make one choice, and some days you'll make another, until the choices start becoming more in one direction than another. And that's the beauty of this moment, because every single person on the planet is walking through it. If you are in a body right now, you are walking through it. You are not immune. Whatever your level of consciousness is, you're walking through it. Right.
And with that choice, one thing I'm curious in the Mayan community, as they, talk about remembering our cosmic connection and that relation from Earth to the cosmos, one thing that seems to be rising, or I feel the energy around, is this age of shifting the energy to creation, to arts, culture, and how we relate back to Earth, how we are in a symbiotic relationship, and how that shifts even how we manifest things in our daily life. Do they talk about some of the technologies that were used in the past to create that balanced system, ecosystem?
Well, your question is multifaceted, because really, on one level, you're asking, do they have memories of Atlantis, kind of thing. And some of the conversations have a little of that kind of poetic imagery of, well, there was a time when. However, these elders, and I think it's incumbent for all of us to be grounded into present time. We're here in this world right now. And part of being here in this world is activating the ascended heart in such a way that we can be present while the old paradigms unwind. And there are those that want to accelerate this process. There are technologies that not only can support polarity, but there are technologies that can support unwinding. And some of these are crystalline technologies. And certainly when the elders gather around the fire, sometimes crystals are passed because they're carrying with them an energetic signature, a learning that they want to pass on to another person. However, the work is always in consciousness. We live our lives. You know, there's that old Japanese Zen saying that before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water, and after Satori, chop wood, carry water. You know? And I'm sorry, we're still here. We still need to chop wood and carry water.
Right, exactly.
And I think that when the mass consciousness reaches a certain point, and if I were to refer to David Hawkins' work, when the mass consciousness reaches 500, which is the level of love, all of the zero-point technologies, all of the quantum ways of remediating the oceans, of rehabilitating the planet, of taking care of health and disease, all of these things will start to come online because consciousness is ready to allow it to be. And so until that point, let's not focus on the technology as much as let's focus on our hearts, on helping each other maintain that space of coherent energy in spite of, or in addition to, all the chaos.
You know, basically, it's instead of one of the invitations that the Mayan elders pray that most people hear at this point, or perhaps accept, since it is an invitation, is rather than debate if a shift of the ages is upon us, why not be the shift that has already come forward?
Right. Beautiful. And the matter of love, that consciousness, because there are a lot of secrets hid in that word, and I think back in the 60s when the Beatles were around and singing about, you know, it's just love.
Right.
And people having the awareness of what that means. To stay in that consciousness and fully embody love. Shri, at the beginning you talked about it's one thing to say I love my daughter, or even just to say I love you to someone, but to truly embody that emotion that you're exuding. How can you share with the listeners to go a little bit deeper into loving oneself and really understand how we can embody that with ourselves first and then share it authentically, transparently with others?
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for bringing that up, because if there was one pervasive energy that feeds fear, it is the lack of self-love. And self-love is self-trust. And the Archangelic Realm talks about this incessantly, that trust and love are actually the same energy. And that's one of the great beauties of our world, is that we have been taught that trust and love are two totally different things. So how can one love themselves is essentially saying how can one trust themselves, and when one can have this loving trust for themselves, the miracles that unfold in your life are so far beyond the mind that it becomes a smile to watch how beautifully everything unfolds. And one of the things that the Archangelic Realm has offered us and that we offer to others is very simple and very profound, and it begins by simply putting your hand on your heart, physically connecting with your heart. And this is that gift of really immediately what you're doing is offering reassurance to the physical body, because the physical body is a vessel of this planet. It is a vessel of beautiful Gaia. So the physical body oftentimes is terrified when the soul emerges. It's like a child saying, oh my goodness, what about me? And so oftentimes as people are at the precipice of a spiritual breakthrough, they might suddenly manifest a disease. They might suddenly have